Wow, so it's actually your bodily fluids that have caused the stench in here.
This is Autotrader UK, where we drive the latest, the greatest, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So strap in, subscribe, and if you have been watching,
Don't stop. Don't ever stop. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're wondering, why is there a 2013 VW Up behind me? Well, it's a good question, but this isn't any ordinary 2013 VW Up. This car belongs to the legend that is Alex Kirsten of Car Throttle fame. Is that the right word? The UK famous Alex Kirsten. I set him the challenge of trading up. I gave him £5,000, told him to go on Autotrader, buy a car, fix it, flip it, buy another one, fix that, flip it, and then buy another car with the dream of going from ordinary to outstanding. And this is the first car in his journey, this lovely VW Up. If you want to see how the challenge came to be, then head over to the Car Throttle channel. And if you've just come from Car Throttle, then welcome to a proper channel. Just kidding. So, the VW Up. Really good car this. I think it's among the best city cars on the market. Really good use of space. Essentially, it's just a box on wheels, but that comes with a lot of pros and very few cons. Lovely cutesy face to it. I don't think you'll find anyone out there who is offended by the Up. Let's take a look around to see if they've made the right decision with this particular example. Decent paintwork, a few cobwebs on the side, a couple of scratches there on the wing mirror, little dent there on the A-pillar, but generally looks like it's in quite good nick. Those I thought were alloys at first, but they're actually not. These are actually wheel trims, and you can tell that they are by the fact it's got some cable ties around it. But from a distance, it actually looks quite decent. On this side anyway, should we go around the other side and take a look whether it's the same story on the passenger side? No, it is not. There's a little bit of damage here on the doors. Scratches in the paintwork. Those will come out though, those aren't deep, that's fine. But then you've got a slightly deeper bit of damage just here, which someone has, for some reason, tried to cover up with nail varnish. Broken wheel at the back here. Obviously someone has curbed that very badly, but that can be repaired quite simply. But on the whole, in pretty decent nick. The back, again, there's a little scratch on the bumper, but that can come off, no problem whatsoever. Just down there. That'll T-cut right out. But the whole thing, suspension, a little bit on the bouncy side, but I think they were like that out of the factory. On the whole, yeah, it's a pretty decent car. Decent sized boot in the Up, by the way. If you're buying this car because you want a practical city car, then you'll be quite pleased with this. I think they came with a 251 litre boot in these cars, which is a lot of space for a car that's this small. Parcel shelf, that doesn't fit very comfortably in the bottom, but you've got a really deep boot there, which is ideal for even a large suitcase actually. Plus the rear seats fold down. There's a box in here. I'm gonna find out what's in there later. But the rear seats fold down quite easily, leaving you quite a lot of space. There's a bit of a lip behind these seats, but let's see if this thing here eliminates that. Yep. Nice flat load area, nice and simple. Like I said, it's a box on wheels, really good use of space. Back to this box. Let's see who it belongs to first of all. Hasn't got Alex's name on it. It's got someone else's name. Would they mind if I open it? It's in Alex's car, right? So it's his box now. So therefore, I'm gonna open it, find out what it is. Hopefully something good. Maybe it's got a turbo in there. Ah, yeah. Look at that. Wheel covers. That is perfect. So Alex has clearly identified some problems with the car, and he's gone out and identified how to fix those problems. So wheel covers will come with this car if you are the person who ends up buying it. There is a funny smell coming out the back of this. Should we go in? I'm gonna have to go in to investigate further. That's not good. Just noticed though, actually, this car has 4 different types of tyre on every corner. Over there was Camac and Matador, never heard of them. But then you got Michelin here and a Hankook there. So yeah, whoever had this car clearly gave not a single damn about their tires. All right, let's have a look inside. Yeah. The ambiance is interesting in here. It smells a bit like a nightclub toilet. I'm gonna have to call Alex. I'm gonna call Alex and figure out the situation. Like, why, who? So many questions. 2 seconds. Don't want to show his phone number. I know he's famous and everything, but you might see his number.
TV's Rory Road.
YouTube's Alex Kirsten. How are you, boss?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I've been better. I'm in your up, and I got first of all, lovely car on the outside. Inside, it stinks. What's going on?
Yeah, I had a bit of an accident on the way back because the car's so good. I just got so excited and I urinated accidentally. It happens when you get to a certain age, Rory.
Wow. So it's actually your bodily fluids that have caused the stench in here.
I'm actually going to take one for the team and say yes, it's mine and not the previous owner's 2 kids. The funny thing is, when I went to see the car, the lady had one of those air fresheners there. I hate in-car air fresheners, so I ripped it out, drove home, everything was good. The next day I got inside, I was like, that doesn't smell like it did smell yesterday. And yeah, I think we've nailed it down to urine.
Was it lemony fresh when you got in to disguise the stench?
It did smell really good, actually. Yeah. But you know, that kind of artificial good.
Yeah.
But now I know why.
She saw you coming. Okay, a couple of other questions. Every single corner is a different tire brand. Did you notice that?
Yes.
A couple I've never heard of.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't. Is there like a something wind in there? I don't know. But yeah, they're all very special in their own way.
Yeah, I'm going to test the handling to its limits in a minute, but I just wanted to point that out. Apart from that, it's a decent little car, mate. You've done quite well. I told you, though, to buy a Vauxhall Corsa. Why didn't you buy a Corsa?
Well, we did have a look at a Vauxhall Corsa, and it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. So what I did is I actually went back, and then I went on the Autotrader website, and I clicked the bit where it says, "This isn't as described."
Oh, yeah.
Which is a good function. I didn't actually know that existed. So,
yeah,
I think your guys would have checked out the car a little bit more closely.
Cool. All right, yeah, no problem at all. Well, listen, mate, well done on the purchase, and I'm gonna take it for a ride now and evaluate the handling dynamics on the limit, and then I'll get back to you and I'll let you know how I get on.
Perfect. Well, it's been nice knowing you, Rory. This is the last car you'll ever review, so good luck with that. And if you just leave the Mustang on my driveway, that would be brilliant.
All right, yeah. Why does this sound so true? All right, bro. Have a good day. Talk to you later.
Yeah, cheers, Rory.
See ya. Okay, I suppose better review the interior of this car. First thing I notice, like in all ups, is that there's plenty of room for the driver up front. Honestly, there's so much space up here and the adjustability is mad. Look, I'll go as far forward as I can and my knees are through the front bulkhead. So if you're really short, that's fine. Equally, look how far back it goes. I can actually barely reach the pedals if I go all the way back, and the headroom is brilliant as well. That much headroom is in the up. I drove a Nissan Qashqai recently and it was about half of that, and that's a crossover which is much bigger than the up. So it just goes to show how cleverly they've used the space inside this car. Very simple in here as well. I mean, things like it's got a single window winding button over here. Normally you have 2, one for the left, one for the right, but they've only got 1 over here. So if you want to wind down the passenger window, you've got to lean across. You know, sometimes when you're in a car with someone and, you know, you want a bit of fresh air in the car, you press both buttons at once, crack both windows, and you don't even have to mention it. But in this, you've got to crack yours, lean across to your passenger awkwardly and crack theirs. Yeah, not ideal, but if it saves a bit of money, that's absolutely fine. On top of that, you've got a dashboard up here with no digital additions whatsoever, no screens, nothing whatsoever. It's all physical buttons, and I know my knob gang posse out there will appreciate that. So if you want to adjust the temperature, you just twist, twist, and twist, and the job is a good one. Equally, the button is a physical button. Speakers are dreadful. Also, you haven't got any LCD screen in front of you. It's all physical dials and it's all a bit of a throwback really. So yeah, if you like your cars nice and simple, the up is the way to go. Other than that, you have 2 cup holders, one down here between the seats, one up here. There are no USB ports at all, but there is a 12-volt little port down there. Plus, look at that, I just found that. That is a little cigarette lighter. Let's see if it works. No, doesn't work, but you can of course get your own USB converter for the 12-volt socket and charge your phones that way. A couple of seats around the back, only 2. Alex is calling me, I will take his call later. Only 2 seats around the back. Some cars have 3, but that's enough for you, plus 3 in the car. Apart from that, nice and simple, nice honest little city car. Should we go for a drive? Let's get some air in here. So out on the road with the mighty VW Up. Little recap for you. There's 3 versions of the Up, or at least there were at the time this was released. There's the entry-level Take Up, there's the mid-range Move Up, that's this one, and then there's the all-singing, all-dancing High Up, which has all the bells and whistles. This entry-level car used a 1-litre, 3-cylinder, non-turbocharged engine, and it made 59 horsepower, and believe me, it's not very quick. Actually, this is the least powerful car I've ever tested on this channel. There's the Renault Twizy, which I think had 17 horsepower, but that wasn't a car, that is a quadricycle. And this by far is the most gutless thing I've ever tested on Autotrader. Let's floor it, 3rd gear. Yeah, 40 miles an hour. Little bit of an uphill stretch there, but it really doesn't go very fast. It really doesn't. 0 to 62 in 14 seconds, and it delivers all of its power up at around 6,000 RPM. So you really have to go hunting through the revs, through the gears, to try and get every single horsepower from this car. But, you know, what do you expect? It's cheap. As for the transmission, well, it's a 5-speed manual, and actually it's pretty decent. It's not the smoothest box in the world, but the clutch is exceptionally light. This car is going to spend a lot of time in the city, so having a nice light clutch is pretty crucial. And I've just noticed there's also an indicator on the dashboard that tells you what gear you should be in. Right now I'm in 4th, it's saying I should change up to maximize fuel economy. Oh, low fuel lights just come on. Apparently this car will do around 60 miles per gallon if you take it easy, but the honest truth is that you're never gonna take it easy, because to get any kind of acceleration going, your foot is pretty much always gonna be nailed to the floor. Okay, what's the steering like? We've got a little bit of a right-hander coming up. It's actually quite slow and lethargic, the steering. If you've ever driven a Mini, then you'll know that it's very darty, very direct, almost like a go-kart. Very small movements from the steering wheel translates to big movements from the car. In this, it's nothing like that. You need big movements on the steering wheel to get the car to actually do anything. But that does have its upsides. What it means is that it's a nice, smooth car to drive, and it won't present you with any surprises mid-corner. It's pretty light though, it weighs under 1,000 kilos, so it's quite chuckable, which means that, you know, it doesn't shy away from the corners. I'm not gonna test it to the absolute limit in the bends though, because I must remind myself that there are 4 different tire brands on all 4 corners, and yeah, none of them seem to be the highest quality tires in the world. But in terms of, you know, the fun factor from this car, it's actually quite enjoyable to throw through a bend. What else should we talk about? Brakes? Well, you've got disc brakes on the front and drum brakes at the back. Let me just give them a quick stab. It does pitch. The car feels like it's almost diving on its nose whenever you get on the brakes too hard. In fact, that wasn't even that hard, but it does feel very front heavy. I wouldn't be surprised to get the odd lockup at the front if you go too hard on the brakes. But it does have ABS. In terms of safety features, you also have a passenger airbag, driver airbag, curtain airbags, ABS like I mentioned, and I did see a traction light flash up on this car as well. So all in all, should be a pretty safe car. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like the noise as well. I love the sound of a 3-cylinder. All right, not the most powerful in the world, but that little thrum, almost like a mini Chewbacca. It sounds all right. It sounds game, it sounds fun, and it's quite an enjoyable car. And the coolest part is that Alex, Jack and Ethan only paid $2.5 grand for it. We gave them a £5,000 budget, but they've gone way lower than that. Got this car for $2.5 grand. And I had a look at Autotrader, and actually there are cars with a very similar spec that are going for around £1,000 more. I doubt they'll make that profit on this car, but if they can, wow, what a profit. And that's gonna play into their hands for the next car they buy in the Trading Up series. Remember, the aim is to go from an entry-level car, this thing, to something quite desirable. So let's see what they come up with. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't watched any of the Trading Up series already, then make sure you head over. Look, I'm gonna overtake a lawnmower. Come on! 59 horsepower in your face. Head over to the Car Throttle YouTube channel to see exactly how those guys are getting on. And if you've just come from Car Throttle, then make sure you subscribe to Autotrader, because we've got all sorts of reviews. Supercars, family cars, electric, petrol, you name it, we've got it. That's enough from me though. I need to get out of this thing and go and burn my clothes and have a shower.